Welcome back, focused learners, to another explainer where we take complex ideas and completely demystify them. Today, we're tackling something we've all faced: logical reasoning and pattern recognition. You know that feeling when you're staring at an aptitude test and it literally looks like an alien language? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. But what if I told you logical reasoning is really just the art of seeing what everyone else misses? It's this beautiful, structured way of thinking, and anyone, absolutely anyone, can master it once they get the underlying architecture. So grab your magnifying glass because today we're becoming cognitive detectives. Okay, let's dive into this.
And figure out if you can spot the hidden rule. When we're taking these reasoning tests, it's so easy to just see them as, dry, super intimidating academic chores. But honestly, that's completely the wrong way to look at them. Instead, I want you to picture yourself as a sleuth, stepping right into a mystery. These tests, they aren't just random, chaotic piles of numbers and letters. They're carefully constructed, hidden codes, just waiting to be cracked. Think of every single question as a mini crime scene. The clues are sitting right there in front of you, assuming you know exactly what to look for.
So let's start with the foundational building block of the whole thing, this series. Now, in a reasoning test, a series is literally never random. It is a deliberately engineered framework built specifically to test your raw analytical power. When test creators build these things, they're constructing a rigid structure governed by really specific unwritten rules. Your job isn't to just guess what comes next and hope for the best. No, your job is to reverse engineer their logic and expose the very foundation the pattern is built on. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it highlights the two primary flavors of series you're going to face: number series and letter series. At a glance, they look totally different, right? But they're really just two sides of the same coin. The catch is, they require you to flex completely different cognitive muscles. Number series ask you to deconstruct mathematical relationships, while letter series, well, they require you to visualize the alphabet as this flexible, shifting code. Let's break down the underlying strategies for both of them. First up, number sequences. Inside these, you've got three major suspects usually hiding out. You have arithmetic progressions, which give you a steady, predictable rhythm of addition or subtraction. Then, geometric progressions. These escalate or shrink super rapidly through multiplication and division. But the absolute trickiest, alternating operations. These are the ones that jump back and forth between different math functions in a single sequence. You literally can't just stare at the problem and hope the answer magically appears. You've got to test these specific mathematical rules systematically, one by one, until the sequence essentially breaks and confesses its secret. Alphabets, on the other hand, need a totally different approach. You have to stop thinking of the alphabet as just a static list of letters and start seeing it more like a circular dial that you can spin forward or backward. Identifying structural shifts, like, say, skipping every other letter or maybe repeating vowels in a specific mathematical cadence, that is the absolute key to solving these. You're essentially playing the role of a cryptographer here, figuring out exactly how the test creator structurally manipulated that sequence. Which brings us to codes. These are symbolic representations where words, letters, or numbers get completely transformed by a hidden rule. And this is where things get significantly more abstract. The test is literally stripping away all obvious meaning and asking you, hey, can you consistently apply logic to decode these symbols? It's a true test of your mental structural integrity, because once you deduce the governing rule for the first half of a code, you have to apply it flawlessly, without a single lapse in concentration, to the second half. Moving on, let's unlock relationships. Whether you're mapping out complex family dynamics, decoding tricky analogies, or untangling deeply nested hierarchical structures, you are no longer hunting for a math progression. Now you are hunting for patterns of association. You are asking, how does element A fundamentally relate to element B? And does that exact dynamic mirror the relationship between C and D? It's all about mapping out that network of connections rapidly to reveal the hidden framework. So when you combine intense attention to detail with the ability to spot those hidden rules and then apply strict logic, the result is massively sharpened problem-solving skills. These isolated little puzzles act like a high-intensity mental gym for your brain. You aren't just solving some random family tree puzzle to pass an exam. You are actively expanding your cognitive capacity. By constantly demanding that intense focus and logical application, these exercises are quite literally sharpening your brain's ability to navigate ambiguity and chaos in the real world. But what are these assessments actually measuring when you sit down to take them? Well, it's a really delicate, high-pressure balancing act between speed and accuracy. It's almost never just about getting the right answer. It's about getting the right answer efficiently, under strict constraints. The pattern recognition required here acts as the ultimate stress test. Can you pinpoint the hidden rule correctly? Okay, that's your accuracy. But can you do it before the clock runs out? That's your speed. And this brilliantly illustrates the real-world payoff of all this practice.
Competitive exams, aptitude tests, cognitive assessments, they're all essentially gateways. Conquering them by decoding these sequences directly fuels your academic success. And honestly, it serves as a highly accurate evaluation of your professional aptitude. You're proving to institutions and future employers that you have the rigorous mental framework needed to not just survive, but absolutely thrive in demanding, high-stakes environments. Ultimately, and this is a really important point to slow down and absorb, mastery equips you with the ability to tackle complex problems systematically. When you master these series and codes, you're doing so much more than just beating a standardized test. You're building an elite mental toolkit. You're training your brain to never panic when you're faced with a massive, unstructured problem in the real world, because you now inherently know how to break it down into solvable, logical pieces. So, the crucial point is that this whole journey to cognitive mastery is incredibly structured. Step 1, you decode the basic mechanics of number and letter series. Step 2, you escalate those skills to uncover the more abstract codes and relationships. And finally, Step 3, you take all that raw cognitive power and apply it to systematically dismantle complex problems in your broader life. It's a highly effective, step-by-step path to peak mental performance. Which leaves us with one final thought to ponder today. Now that you actually know the rules of the game, what hidden patterns will you decode in your own career? The next time you face a professional aptitude evaluation, or honestly, even just a massive, incredibly complex project at work, remember, there is always a hidden structure waiting to be found. Adopt that detective mindset, apply your logic consistently, and just watch how quickly the complex becomes incredibly clear. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep looking for those patterns.